Today, boys and girls, we're going to go over how to finish your Fasching mask. So hopefully you have added some patterns using lines, colors, and shapes, using your crayons to your superhero Fasching mask. But today I'm going to show you how to use either watercolor paint, which might come in a tray like this, or like a Crayola watercolor paint, or I'm going to show you how to use markers to add the effect of watercolor with marker and a little cup of water and a paintbrush. So first thing I'm going to go ahead and do is, if you don't have watercolor paint, you can use the markers. But if you have a watercolor set like this, or maybe it might look a little differently than mine, then go ahead and use what you have. But you should have markers from your art kit to use. So I'm going to go ahead and very carefully color in the area that I want to be filled in. And I'm going over the crayon, but then I'm going to go ahead and show you what the water will do to that when I'm ready. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of fill in different areas with different colors. And keep going until the whole thing is filled in. And then I'm going to go ahead and take my water with my paintbrush, and I'm just going to start painting over top of where I colored in. Now this is going to wake up my marker, and it's going to help expose some of that crayon that we already used. So I'm going to clean my brush in between each color that I'm waking up. And again, I can also do some mixing, right? So bring one color onto another. So I'm going to wake up these areas, and I'm going to fill the whole mask in I used my crayon first, and now I'm going in and I'm using my marker or a watercolor paint and the water to wake it up. This is just going to expose my crayon, the wax in the crayon, on my mask. So I'm going to keep going until I fill the entire thing. So don't just stop there. You want to fill the whole thing up. And then once you have the whole thing filled up completely, you're going to go ahead and cut the mask out. Okay, so I'm going to keep going until I have the whole thing filled. Remember, this is your superhero mask, so you want to use all the colors that you love most. Wake that up. Again, clean your brush after every color. I'm kind of using the same colors on these areas, so I can just kind of go from one spot to another. And I'm going to go ahead and do this one last area. And again, my coloring doesn't have to be perfect, because when I wake it up with the watercolor or with the water, that's going to kind of even it out. So I'm just going to go around these areas. If you have watercolor paint, you're doing the same exact thing. You're waking up your color of your watercolor paint, and then you're just filling in like you would be painting a picture. So I'm kind of rubbing the water onto the paint or onto the marker and waking it up. Now, if you're using a watercolor paint like this, then you would take your water and wake up the color and then go ahead and paint that in. Now, I want to let this dry completely before I start cutting it out, but the next step would be to follow along the outline of your mask and cut. So if you are painting, then you want to let it sit and dry and then come back to it. I'm just going to show you the next step. So I'm going to cut this out, and because of the magic of recording, I'm not going to make you sit here through me cutting this all out completely. You're going to cut out all the way around your mask, and then here we go. We've got a finished one. And you're going to notice that I cut these little grooves in between each of the glue portions, the glue tabs of the mask. The last place I want to go ahead and cut out is the eye hole. So I'm going to cut a little slit in there and then go in. You might need to ask for an adult's help on this last little part. The eye holes might be the hardest part, or if you needed a little bit of help cutting it out, don't be afraid to ask. And once I have the outside cut out and the eye hole cut out, in the kit that came home with you, you're going to notice that you have these little foamy shapes. You also have a little container with some glitter, and you also have a head strap. Okay. Now with these foamy shapes, I really would encourage you to kind of cut them and change them into new shapes. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this one a little bit smaller, and then I want to add some fun shapes to my mask. Maybe I could take another shape and cut some stripes. Ooh, they're kind of like jumpy. Oh, there we go. Oh, it jumped out of my hand again. So I'm going to be very careful cutting these shapes into new shapes. And then I'm going to go ahead and add some in there. Again, when you're done with all of this, make sure you're cleaning up after yourself, throwing away all these little pieces of paper. Cut one more. Really just have some fun and stick on as many shapes as you want. If you don't want to use all the shapes, you can save them for another project that you might be thinking about doing at home. And then maybe I think I'm going to add some more stripes somewhere else too. There we go. Think about the patterns that you drew and how you can make those patterns even better by using these foamy shapes. So I'm going to add some going up the sides like that. And then I did this over here, so I think I'm going to do it over here as well. That's called symmetry. Whatever you do on one side, you do it on the other. You don't have to make yours symmetrical, but if you want to, you can. All right. All right. I think maybe I should add one more shape. This time I'm going to add it to this area. And then again, I'm going to do it on the other side. On this side. There we go. All right, now the last finishing touch would be if you want to use this wonderful glitter pack to add some designs on your mask. And in order to do that, you're going to need some white glue and open it up all the way. And then basically you want to just draw with the glue on your mask where you want glitter to be. Maybe you want to outline some areas all around. Then you're going to cut a small corner off of the glitter and just kind of gently tap it onto your mask. Then you're going to want to let that sit and dry. And the final step is going to be to assemble your mask. So number one, we painted with the watercolor or with the marker and water mixture. Next, you added your foamy shapes. And then lastly, you use your white glue from your art kit and the glitter pack to add some glitter to your mask. You really want to let that sit and dry completely. And then the last step would be to go ahead and glue these tabs together. So when you're ready to glue the tabs together, you're going to put a little bit of glue on the tab that says glue, just a little bit. And then you're going to want to go ahead and line that tab up with the line on your mask. And then you're going to hold it together. Now you might want to sit and hold it for about 20 seconds. You might need to hold it a little bit longer than that, but it's really going to help it hold, like stay together and stay put if you really take the time to hold it. If you have clips at home, you could maybe clip it and have it sit that way. But if you don't have clips at home, then just holding it with your fingers is the best option. Once you have that seam glued, you're going to go ahead and glue the next seam. So again, I'm going to put a little bit of glue on, here we go, a little bit of glue on the glue triangle, and then overlap. Here we go. Hold it with my fingers. And then the last one, put a little bit more glue. And oops, and overlap again, and hold that one as the last one. So now you've got this great 3D shape mask, and the final touch is to go ahead and put your strap on it. So you might need to poke a little hole in the side over here using the tip of the strap, and then you're going to poke a hole over here using the tip of the strap, and then you've got this nice headband that's going to hold it in place. I can't wait to see your Fasching masks. If you come to celebrate Fasching at Fairview this year, I can't wait to see what you've come up with. The finishing thing I'd love to have you do is take a picture and post it on Schoology in the Fasching mask media album. So I can't wait to see how your superhero mask turned out. And I can't wait to see how much fun you had with the different materials that were sent home. Auf Wiedersehen!